a trio of things to touch on, and maybe a fourth with some preseason stats. Tom, what are you going with right off the top, man?
Yeah, I'll reiterate what I said a little bit earlier. I'm going to go with an offensive-minded head coach. Can you get to the top of the mountain with a Mike Vrabel or a Brian Flores? Sure you can, but you got to tell me who your OC is and how you're going to get Caleb to where you want him to be. So Ben Johnson is that guy for me. You've invested so much into the offensive side of the football. I would use an offensive-minded head coach. Add another pass rusher on the other side of Montez Sweat. Montez Sweat was not a $100 million player this year.
I think numbers were dropping.
Yeah, I think he was playing with some injuries, but he needs some help on the other side. It was something that we talked about before the season even kicked off. More pass rush, and even up front, in between the tackles as well. You got to find a way to stop the opposing rushing attack. And finally, and I think maybe most importantly, you got to upgrade the offensive line. And if it was up to me, Darnell Wright would be the only guy that I would slot in as a starter. Not only do you have to protect your quarterback better, but you got to establish a running game. They could not run the football at all this year. So you got to get better on the offensive line. Can you fill the other 4 spots in one offseason? I don't know, but I know you can get better with a couple of guys, and then those guys will help out some of those that maybe aren't frontline offensive linemen. So that O-line, the line of scrimmage has got to be addressed on both sides of the football. And I hope that Ryan Poles has learned his lesson, because this is something we all talked about heading into this past season. You've got to be better at the point of attack. Look at the Detroit Lions. Look at the Minnesota Vikings. Look at the Green Bay Packers. You don't have to leave the NFC North and identify how strong they are at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football.
Well, identifying and pinpointing that talent up front, it will be an offseason task for Ryan Poles.